Okay, guys, I believe we should be live now. Hello. How's it going, everyone? My name is Mitchell Mander, and welcome to another live discussion for the Pokemon Horizon series. Today we're going to be covering episode 96, the Dragon Rampage Gang. So yeah, how was this episode? And what are my thoughts on it? Well, before we get there, I do want to say if you are someone that is brand new to the channel, you're coming across this stream for the first time, you're not sure what's going on here, you might even discover it after the stream ends and it's a video, because I always leave these up. Typically what we do here is I usually give it about 5 minutes for people to show up. After that point, then I start reviewing the episode, giving my summary of the episode, talk about what I liked and disliked about it, assign a rating to the episode, and then I hand it over to the chat at that point. Usually we have a pretty decent crowd here nowadays, so it takes me a little while to get caught up on chat once I'm done with my summary, but just bear with me. But you can feel free to come in here and chat with us. The more the merrier, I say. And you probably should subscribe to the channel. That would be kind of cool. We're at 1,900 subs now. Nice. Less than 100 to go till 200 or 2,000. So we're almost at the 2K subscriber mark. We'll get there eventually, guys. Also, like the stream. Likes really do help. It spreads the word. It spreads in the algorithm. So it'd be cool if you like the stream if you haven't already. If not, you've already done your part. And also vote in the poll if you're here present for the stream. I have a poll active for the episode. Just let me know what you thought about the episode. Whether you think it's like a 10 or 9, an 8 or 7, 6 or 5, or lower than 5. And then another thing to mention here really quickly is that the music you hear in the background comes from a separate stream, the Video Game Study Lounge from Game Chops. Basically lo-fi remixes of video game music, along with some originals sprinkled in here and there. It's pretty cool. You'll usually hear a lot of Zelda or Final Fantasy or Mario or Pokemon lo-fi remixes. It's pretty cool. There's other stuff in there too, but yeah. I usually listen to it when I'm studying, reading, working, need something to distract me from the workday. Yeah, it's cool stuff. You should definitely check it out, and, well, I'd say check it out after stream, but you can check it out whenever you want. Anyways, let's see who's here. It looks like Sharon's here. Hey, how's it going? Pokefan says I'm not probably gonna have to miss this stream. My ride's about to be here. Gonna be at my friend's house. You're fine, Pokefan. I don't know if you're. It looks like you're here still. So, don't worry. Do what you need to do. But it does seem you have a little bit of extra time here, so let me get caught up on the chat. It's okay, Pokemon, I'll stay for the majority of the stream. Well, Sharon's here is here, and she will relay the information to you as to what happened in this stream. Yo, Iono's here. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. Good to see you. So I have something to say about all that. I'll mention it later. I'll stay till I gotta go. Oh, nice. Pokefan. Quick review. I enjoyed the episode. Not like my all-time favorite, but it's still decent. Gotcha. Thought the episode was an 8 out of 10. Gotcha. We finally see our strong, cutie black Rayquaza. Great you. I am doing pretty good. A little sleepy right now, but other than that, I'm doing relatively fine today. Just hanging out and talking about good old Pokemon Horizons here with y'all. See what I mean? We got a Zelda lo-fi already. Yep. Okay. Getting close to the 5-minute mark here. And we have a pretty decent crowd here, so we're going to go ahead and get started with my summary of this episode. So, episode 96 of Pokemon Horizons. We are in the Johto area. We're heading towards Was it Blackthorn City, I believe? Yeah, Blackthorn City. So yeah, we're heading over there because it turns out that there was a sighting for the Black Rayquaza there roughly a year ago, or shortly after the events in Rayquaza. So even though it's been a year, Liko and Roy decide to go out and head out there to check it out, and Alt obviously wants to check it out because he's got to be better than Roy. And the first part of this episode is kind of just him acclimating himself into the group, and he's still very stubborn. He's still very nervous around girls, specifically Liko. But it just some of their banter was kind of funny in the beginning. Like I like how Alt was like very stubborn, trying to do things on his own, but Liko's just being, you know, helpful and trying to, you know, get him to eat and stuff, and he ends up eating all their pancakes. That was funny. Anyways, we end up heading over, and we run into some random stranger on the road, and who tells us about the Dragon Rampage gang, which basically they've been causing a bunch of trouble in that area. No one can seem to, you know, get around that area. Seems like they're rogue members of the Dragon Tamer clan, so so, in other words, outcasts, allegedly. Anyways, we end up running into them, and, you know, it's kind of interesting. They got these masks that basically mask their voice, so it sounds like they're guys or whatever, but it turns out they're girls, which I thought was kind of a funny twist later on, because it made Alt kind of a little bit bashful, which I thought was kind of funny. But Alt tries to take them on their own, and at first they're like telling them to go away, but then they end up slipping by that. Oh, we're looking for a Black Rayquaza. Oh, we haven't seen any. No, they're like, we're looking for a Rayquaza. Oh, no, we haven't seen any Black Rayquaza. And they're like, oh, wait a second, you have heard that? They're like, no, we haven't. So they end up battling or whatever. And they also mentioned like, oh, are you part of the Wiggle Gang or whatever? You're trouble. So anyways, they end up going away after a while. After their little skirmish here. And then we continue on, and we end up coming across some dragon eggs, which looks like a member of the Wiggle Gang is trying to steal them, along with the Dratini that just hatched. And yeah, pretty much like nothing too notable here, just basically they all teamed up and took down the Wiggle Gang member and sent him away. But it turns out, it's kind of funny because it seemed like the Dragon Rampage gang was the bad guys, but it turns out the Wiggle Gang was the real bad guys. And they ended up witnessing that. And they're like, oh, you guys, thanks for taking care of that. You guys are actually pretty good. And then they end up convincing them to take them to the Black Rayquaza. And I thought it was funny how like they offered Liko and Roy a ride, but when it came to Alt, they're like, nope, I don't like your attitude, you walk. But we end up going to the Dragon's Den, which I thought was pretty neat. And as it turns out, the Black Rayquaza has basically been sleeping there for roughly a year. And it only just woke up when the gang showed up. So basically, the whole reason the Dragon Rampage gang was causing mischief is because they're actually part of the Dragon Tamer clan. They're not rejects at all. They're just basically protecting the Rayquaza, or Black Rayquaza, which was kind of a neat little twist there. So basically, Liko and Roy affirmed to it that, hey, there's Rayquaza that's still out in the world, but we're going to take care of it. You know, you rest up and get stronger. Alt eventually shows up, and he kind of rebukes Rayquaza here. It's like, oh, you're just weak. You're just weak. I want a strong Rayquaza. So you better be better when I come back, or whatever. But anyways, it looks like the gang is heading to Paldea now. A little bit sooner than I was expecting, but we're going from Johto to Paldea now, as they're going to be meeting up with Murdoch. The whole gang's going to be meeting up together. So Dot's going to be preparing to meet up with Liko, Roy, and Alt in Paldea. And it turns out that Murdoch went back to working with Katie. I was expecting him to work with Mitchell, but I guess he's going back to what he was doing in the Terrestrial debut arc. So he's been working with Katie for the last year, so we're going to go meet with him. So that's what basically the goal is right now. And at the end of the episode, Dot gets a call from Iono, which sets up the events for the next episode. So, overall, I thought this episode was okay, to be honest with you. There were some good moments here. Like, Alt got a little bit of development here. He was kind of a little bit of a nuisance throughout the episode, but I liked how Liko eventually rebuked him and basically said, like, hey, dude, you can't just do everything on your own. He's like, you say you want to be a strong trainer, but you are just not, you're not acting strong at all. And that kind of just whipped Alt into shape immediately, and he immediately turned around. So I thought that was cool. He's still got a little ways to go, because he's still a little bit of a stubborn brat. But I do. The one thing that I find to be interesting now is that besides the Black Rayquaza, it looks like there's an actual goal here for Alt. Besides, like, oh, I'm just doing Roy's goal. It turns out he has another Pokemon, and he's trying to gain its approval. So pretty much he's trying to. What he thinks to gain its approval is to become stronger and get the Black Rayquaza, and then it will come out of its Pokeball, but. More on that down the road. So I thought that was kind of neat. We did get some good stuff with Alt in this episode. A little annoying at times, but he did develop as a character. Let's just be real. The plot with like the Dragon Tamer, like the Dragon Rampage gang and the Wiggle gang, it's kind of generic. Nothing really too like special. The one thing I will say about the Dragon Rampage gang, they're actual Dragon Tamers, so they're going to have relevance here because they're going to be protecting the Black Rayquaza. Don't be surprised if we see them in the future and the Explorers or Spinel ends up discovering where the Black Rayquaza is and they go and launch an attack on them. So they might show up again in the future. But yeah, like the stuff with that stuff, that whole plot line with them. Oh, we gotta save the dragon eggs and stuff. Nothing too special there. The main thing is that Rayquaza, we found Rayquaza sooner than I was expecting. To be honest with you, I was not expecting Rayquaza to be found this early. But just like Terrapagos, we kind of figured that out sooner than expected. But yeah, like. This episode overall, I found it to be okay. It's not like not like a great episode in my opinion. It's an okay episode, like maybe a 5 or 6 for me personally. I'd probably say that this is tied with the I'd say it's a little bit more relevant than the one with the Litten and Cinnamoroar trainer episode. Just because we actually did find the Black Rayquaza this time around. But yeah, like most of this episode, I was kind of just like, it's okay. I still wouldn't rate it below a 5, though. So far this arc, we haven't gotten anything that I consider to be a bad episode. So that, to me, is a good sign for this arc. Ironically, I'm kind of more intrigued with next week's episode. Or not next week's episode. 2 weeks from now, because we have a break next week. But yeah, it was an alright episode, in my opinion. Nothing too great. Like, cool stuff. Cool development. Like, good development for Alt. Rayquaza spotted. We're going to Paldea. I just felt like a portion of the episode, like that, the whole conflict between the Dragon Rampage gang and the Wiggle gang, I thought that was kind of just like, been there, done that in Pokemon so many times. So anyways, I'd say it's 5 or 6 out of 10 for me. So let's get caught back on the chat. See, where was I at? I kind of want to hug the Wiggle team guy. He has a vibe. In the preview of the last episode, hi Xavier, how's it going? The preview for the last episode following Pokemon Horizon Mega Voltage and another one, but saying the title in June or not, it will be canceled in the anime forever. I'm not really sure what you mean. Canceled in the anime forever, and are you referring to something? I do see you did comment more. I'll get down the road or get down the line of chat. Not gonna lie, I'm curious what Alt's second Pokemon is gonna be. I actually had a theory Alt would be the Arven of Horizons, and by that I mean he would have a secret Pokemon who he was trying to become stronger for. Well, your boy is psychic sometimes, I swear. Yep, you got it right. I was wondering if he had another Pokemon besides Sableye, but we got our answer, but we just don't know what it is yet. What could it be, though? Now that's going to be the speculation. Sup, Beast Mode God 1. But there were guys also. By everyone in Japan and is protesting every day in anger, and they're fed up with being bored without Ash nor Serena. We saw the news and it's like, I'm so confused. I don't know what you mean. I think the series is doing fine without Ash. Let's just be real. In fact, I think that this series benefits from not being an Ash-focused series. But that's just me. But the Dratini got violated just after hatching from the egg. The Wiggle Gang is funny. Yeah, they are. Yeah, that Dratini was like happy for a second, then it got thrown into a cage. Definitely an okay episode. Interesting. Since Liko Roy Alt has interacted with the Explorer members aside Zongo, Onyx, and Agate, then it means that Spinel must know about them. Curious if he'll be used as Behem again. Maybe. You know, if he realizes they're active. For stalking, I mean, he's supposed to be annoying. Yeah, that's pretty much his trait. But he does have layers to his character. He's not exactly like a bad person. He's going to stop bad people if he sees them doing morally reprehensible things. Want to know what's on his schematic mind? What if Alt caught his eye? I guess we'll see. It's a decent episode, but not one of the best. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'd say for this one. Definitely not a great episode. You're changing your ranking to 6 out of 10. Gotcha. Can't wait for the episodes after the break. Yeah, we'll see how the Iono Dot episode is. It looks alright, but we'll see. Every episode is likable for me. Just be here. Without new episodes, it's getting boring. Well, we just have a break next week, but then we'll be back in 2 weeks. Kid Angie, 17. This was a cool episode seeing Alt get embarrassed when he sees girls and Liko's partner being a big sister. Yeah. Well, gotta go check. Talk to you later. Have a great day or night wherever you're at. Well, thank you for stopping by, PokeFan. Hope you have a great rest of the day or night wherever you're at. We'll see you in the next one, bud. What if that's a Giratina in the Alt Dust Ball? Oh boy. You gotta question how he got it. If it's like something like crazy like that. I'll be here for episode 100 to 105 Pokemon discussion. Gotcha. Pocket Monsters, Liko and Roy's Adventures. OST, what's up? This series is great. It feels original. I agree. It's based on the episode preview for the Stunfish episode. The trainer is using the Requiem Spear. Or the Strong Spear on the... I would say it's a Strong Spear on the Stunfish. Yep. They've pretty much drank the Kool-Aid, and now they're believing what the explorers say, so they think the Strong Spear is actually a good thing. But I guess is that Tinkertuff will learn a new move in the episode? It's a strong possibility. It looks like it's the focal point in the episode. At least the focal Pokemon that Dot is using. Using both, but yeah. Mitch, maybe Alt has a pseudo legendary in the Dust Wall. Yeah, we'll see. What if it was a starter or something like that? Who knows? It's nice to see more non-regular Pokeballs being used. Yep, I agree. Kind of was a little annoying in the prior series that shall not be named. Just a certain somebody using just regular Pokeballs to catch every Pokemon. Pretty much every Pokemon. Gotta have more variety, man. Have you not played Pokemon Go? Use your Ultra Balls. I miss seeing Spino's smug muzzle. Hope he does appear at least for a few moments. Can't do anything with it. Our Sly guy. Well, he'll show up in time. We just gotta wait for the opportunity for him to kind of just show himself. He's looking for that black Rayquaza, so he's gonna be on the hunt for it. It is original own story, not following the Ash adventure. Yep. A very unique take on things too. It's an original story that has a it's a long running series. It's plot driven, more plot driven. Don't have to go do the gym battles like the previous series and do the league and stuff. It's doing its own thing, and I appreciate the series for doing that. It's definitely needed something different. And while the series has been doing some different things the previous two series, I feel like this was actually the real change for the series that it definitely needed. And then we'll go from there and see what they do the next Pokemon series. Poor Dratini getting thrown into an egg right after. You mean the cage? Right after hatching? Yep. I thought Alt was kind of a bit selfish in this episode. I mean, what he said to Rayquaza sounded like he was being kind of selfish. Well, that's just him. And he talks big, and he wants to just come off as being, a stubborn trainer, and like he's like, you need to be strong. And what I'm seeing here is not a strong Pokemon. He's trying to give it motivation, but in a harsh way, if that makes sense. That's why he said at the end, like, you better get better. He's like, oh, you better. Okay, I'll just stop for a second to just say, if you guys haven't liked the video yet, you should totally like the video. We are over 10 likes. I didn't even have to request to get the 10 likes today. Thank you, guys. Let's get to 15. That's our next like goal. Is 15 likes. And also vote in the poll if you haven't already. I'll be giggly wiggly when I see him. Surely that's what I am each time I saw him getting screen time previously. I liked how Meowscarada is protecting her sister from Alt. Yeah. Alt's Tsundere slightly. Yeah, a little bit. You definitely got that personality, that's for sure. So my guess when Dot battles the Stunfisk, as we see Quaxwell getting hit hard with an electric type attack, maybe Thunderbolt or Discharge, and that knocks him out. So then Dot has to use Tinkatuff. Yeah, at least utilizes it more. Again, one thing that I am liking so far this arc is that the starters aren't like the main stars. I mean, Meowscarada was helping out, and Crocodile basically ate too much, so it was not able to do anything. But yeah, The other Pokemon are getting a little bit more time to shine. Well, not as much in this episode, but yeah, Lucario was utilized here to, along with Sableye, to save the day, so to say. Iono hasn't changed, don't mind that, really, still adorable. Yeah, some people aren't going to really change a ton. Especially like the adults. I don't expect them to like radically change a lot. Molly essentially looks the same as she did like a year earlier. So yeah. Then she will terrestrialize the Tinkatuff, and then we'll get a new move. Yeah, I would like to see that, Terra. We got it with Hatterene, so let's see it with Tinkatuff. I think Iono might help out in the fight with Dot. She might. Yo, what's up, Thomas? I was pleased to find out that Murdoch is working for Katie. I was hoping he'd be working for Mitchell, but it seems like the people that were saying that he possibly was going to go work with her after or during the time skip turned out to be correct. Hatterene and Kilowattrel are, and especially Tinkatuff, need more development and still need to be used more. Yeah, I mean, we just had like some development for Hatterene though, right? I mean, we got to see it terrestrialize. You know, and it still fit in with its personality. So I feel like, you know, that counts for a little bit, right? You know, and Kilowattrel, even though he's been used essentially as a ride Pokemon during this arc so far, has at least been somewhat useful, hey? And is, you know, has more of a presence. So that's like one of the things I see as a step up during this arc so far. Secondary Pokemon are being utilized better. Still need a little bit more for Kilowattrel though. Like a dedicated episode, maybe it being terrestrialized as well. Could use that. But I like how this arc still is having more secondary. The secondary Pokemon do more. Yep, just what I said. Interesting thing. What if Explorers will have a new member or members? Curious if writers make that move. I'm not certain at the moment. I mean, we did have a decrease in members because Gibeon is gone. Amethio is not part of like that iteration. Is not part of the Explorers anymore. He's off doing his own thing somewhere. Probably plotting to take back over Exceed and get Spinel out of there. But so far, we just have our usual gang. It's just Spinel, Agate, Songo, Onyx. Those are the main Explorers for now. So I guess we'll see. Maybe we got some new grunts. Since Zerk and Konya pretty much are not associated with them anymore either. So maybe we get some rivals for Zerk and Konya. They seem to have a little bit more relevance now that they're searching for the Zygarde cells. Murdoch is cooking with Katie, yeah. I wish that Murdoch would be working for Kofu. That would make the perfect opportunity to showcase Kofu. I agree. You know, we're going back to Paldea, and we don't... You know, this is a different arc. So there are some possibilities for some things to be changing up ahead. So now that we're back in Paldea, we could, you know, see characters that we haven't, you know, got to interact with in the series. Like, this is a good opportunity to bring Arven into the series and not have him just show up in episode 67 and just, you know, watch Liko and Roy's battle and not say a word. So there's that. You could probably have like Kofu and then the other gym leader, I forget her name. That was also not really utilized in the Tressel debut arc. This is the opportunity to bring them, you know, into the series in a more relevant role, at least for an episode, you know. Tulip, yep. That's her name. Tulip and Kofu. There's an opportunity now to have them, have some relevance in the series besides just being in, that one episode where Zongo blew up her Glaceon, Kofu, and then Onyx kind of let Tulip down. So you have that, and you also have the potential of some areas we haven't explored in Paldea yet. You literally could have that, because you could be going around solving this problem with the Requiem, So just some things to think about, guys. About what could be coming as we go back to Paldea. I thought the Wiggle Gang was not needed, so what... I mean, yeah, it kind of felt like it was there. It was there to basically get the Dragon Rampage game to be like, hey, these guys are actually good, guys. Huh. And not part of the Wiggle Gang. So who do you think Orla is working with? Okay, there are two things. There are two things that Orla could be doing. There's either A, she went back to the construction company that she was working at, before she joined the Rising Bolt Tacklers, or B, she could be at that one place in Galar that... Remember in her Focus episode where she possibly could have stayed behind there? I can't remember the lady's name off the top of my head. That seemed like a one and done deal for her. A character of the day kind of episode, but there's a chance that maybe Orla's there. Because that was a possibility, too. So that would be like my two best guess there, and then C, it's somewhere else that we're unaware of. But I think her construction company was in Hoenn, so that would actually provide us an opportunity to go to Hoenn in the series if Orla is there. And Hammer is not on Spinel's side. Yep. Yes. It's pretty clear. He might be pretending to serve him for now, but in reality, he is on, Emethio's side since, he is the family butler. So, yeah. Can we see more of Kofu and Tulip? Yeah. And Arven, please. Like, pretty much what I said. Maybe Songo and Onyx get their megas too. Maybe. We haven't had an opportunity to see if they can get one. We're also going to Paldea now, so maybe we'll go to Kalos at some point and see what Roy was up to in that 1 year of training. There needs to be a focus episode on Kilowattrel. Yeah. And it terrestrializes. They still need to showcase Tulip and Kofu. Yep. This is their opportunity to do so. Let's see if they take the opportunity while we have it. Also, animation does seem to be improved. Yep. Gotten better over time. Can we also get a full-on episode with Arven, please, and have him battle Roy or Alt? Not even just a full-on episode. Can we get him having a focus role here, since we're here in Paldea? Not just a singular episode, maybe a couple episodes. That would be cool. Wait, it's only now that I realize Alt's height is totally mine, shorty. Oh, really? Sorry, I came in late. Can you restate your rating? I said 6 out of 10. 5 or 6. I thought this episode was okay. I thought the stuff with the little conflict between the Dragon Rampage gang and the Wiggle gang, we've been there and done that in the series so much. But I thought, Alt did have some pretty decent development in the episode. We were acclimating him into the gang, so that's what the beginning of this episode served. It was neat that the black Rayquaza is hanging out in the Dragon's Den in Johto. That's kind of cool. Found it a little bit sooner than I was expecting us to, but just like with Terapagos, you know, we kind of nipped that in the butt really fast into this arc. But overall, I thought this was a decent episode. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's an okay episode. Still, though, I haven't ranked any of these episodes below 5, so that pretty much tells me this arc has been above average so far, which is a good thing. The place where they made the new types of Pokeballs, yep. That's what I was referring to. Maybe Orla is helping out with innovations. That's a possibility. Because, you know, I thought Murdoch maybe would have gone back to work with Mitchell, but he's going to work with Katie. So, you know, there's that possibility. But we don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I think Roy and Alt would have a 3v3 battle on who keeps Rayquaza. We'll see. 3-on-3 battle between them would be cool, but Alt needs to have, you know, a third Pokemon. And it's one Pokemon that he needs to gain, you know, its acceptance from. Needs to come out of his Pokeball for that to happen as well. Super Saiyan Darmanitan, what's up? What is Alt's problem with girls? He's just a little shy. That can happen when you're that age. Sableye is a walking meme. Yeah. Maybe we can get something with Arven and the Herba Mystica. Maybe. The anime usually takes liberties with these characters, and they're not exactly the same as they are in the games. So that, I don't know. Maybe. Like maybe they have to battle the Titan Pokemon under the influence of Recurium and to be able to get the Herba Mystica for Arven Mabostiff. See, I don't know if they're gonna go that route with it, but then again, Mabostiff hasn't even shown up in the series yet. And it was shown off in the poster for Terrestrial debut. So who knows? Lavencia is so memorable to me. I can't forget a certain Umbreon's trainer. Smart schemes. Oh. I know what you're referring to. Beast mode, God. Laugh. Maybe Alt could have a Grimmsnarl? Or Mightyana? I don't know. Mightyana could probably fit him, though. Wait, does Alt have a disobedient Pokemon? Because he was holding a Dust Ball. It seems to imply that he has a Pokemon that is distrusting of him. Which I kind of find interesting, because it's like, at the beginning of this arc, Terapagos was sleeping in its ball after the whole Recua incident for a year. And I thought the whole thing was, like, over the course of this arc, it would eventually wake up. And then it woke up after after two or three episodes. And then now we have Alt, who has, like, a similar problem where he's like, yeah, I got this Pokemon that's not coming out of this ball. I need to gain its approval. I don't know, I'm like, okay, so he pretty much has a similar issue, and we just didn't know it. So there's a dynamic that they had, but they could have had that if Terapagos hadn't woken up yet. What if it's a Garchomp? Mega evolution besides it probably too strong for Alt. I feel like that would it'd make him broken. If it were something crazy. I don't know. It's hard to say what it is. Obviously, how many Pokemon do we have? It could be any one of these Pokemon. We just don't know. It's gonna be hard to predict what his Pokemon is. What's sleeping in that dust ball? Yo, what's up, Kevin? How are you doing? Welcome in. How's your day going? You said exactly what I was typing with the Herba Mystica. Yeah, I'm kind of still, like, again, I'm just like, the anime does its own thing with these characters, so I don't expect it to follow the same exact plot. They could do something similar, though. We just don't know. And Herba Mystica, I feel like, that whole scenario, I'm like, how would we kind of wrap this into this, whole Requiem plot line? This feels like that's like the big issue we're dealing with in the series. But who knows? They could still fit it in, I guess. That's what I said. I want him to have a Grimmsnarl. Man, you have so many picks. Hydreigon. I think Alt has a Morgrama and the back of his hair. The back of his hair resembles it. Oh. Maybe. Real Excadrill-like. Wait, Alt has a Pokemon that doesn't want to come out of the Pokeball? That's what it seems to be. He was holding it up and was looking at it like, hey, I'm trying to get this one's approval, so I gotta get stronger. So much guessing. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of impossible to figure out what it is. That's why I don't think a video would be necessary on it, because it's like, yeah, I have no clue. Would be my video. Like, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. Unless he starts dropping hints as to what it is. Then we don't know. Until it shows itself. I want Dot to have an Impidimp. But I don't think that'll happen. Probably not. We need a reason to go back to Galar, and I'm not sure if we have one at this point, unless it's to go pick up Liko's grandma. And last time, she just met us out at Kitakami. Well, we haven't had a disobedient Pokemon in a long time, so I'm down for it. Since it's in a Dust Bowl, it's probably a Ghost or Dark type. That probably narrows it down quite a bit, yeah. Or he caught it in like a cave or something. I'm expecting an episode where we get focus on Alt in a second Pokemon. I would assume that that'll be something that comes down the road sometime. There's no way. It'd be weird if he brought it up in this episode and he just never brings it up again. We're not treating this like the GS ball now, guys. The Mega Evolution music is a bop. Yeah, in this series, yeah. I'm really hoping Alt doesn't follow the Iris and Excadrill plot. Yeah. Hopefully not. Oh, we have a new person here. Hopefully I'm not butchering your name, but is it rejects me? Sorry, I'm bad at pronouncing names. Welcome in. How are you doing? What do you think about Liko sideline in this arc and final? I don't think she's being sidelined necessarily. It's just that she was the focal character in the first part of Pokemon Horizons. So Roy essentially kind of taking a more of a spotlight. This arc kind of makes sense. They're both considered main protagonists, so it's kind of weird that it really felt like Liko was the only main protagonist here, and Roy kind of came off as a secondary protagonist by comparison. But this arc, he kind of feels more like the leader of the gang this arc, so yeah, and I'm kind of expecting that flashback episode with how he met Lucario. But yeah, I wouldn't say she's being sidelined. I expect her to still develop. It's just, yeah, our boy Roy has taken the spotlight this arc, and probably for part 2 of Horizons. At least that's the feeling I get. I'm guessing it's either a dark or ghost type. Yep, what Thomas said. I find it strange that Agate hasn't revealed her third Pokemon in this late in the series. Maybe we're saving it for like a climactic battle later on. Can we have Sango and Sango and Onyx revealed their third Pokemon? Do they even have a third Pokemon? I feel like trainers using the strong spheres on their Pokemon will continue to be a recurring thing this arc. Yeah, I would assume so. That kind of makes sense for kind of the theming for this arc. We start off with like rampaging Pokemon all over the place. And it turns out that like, oh, we still have Recurium, and we're putting it in these strong spheres, and they really help your Pokemon get stronger. No side effects, not at all. If you see any, ignore it. I think it would be really... Wait, I'm sorry. I think it would be really... You mean cool if Agate betrays Spinel? She doesn't strike to follow Spinel without her own hidden motives. I'm still kind of leaning on it's going to be the other way around, but we'll see. The Wiggle Lady kisses the egg and it hatches. In my opinion, the Iris Extra plot was amazing. We need another disobedient Pokemon idea. Imagine if Alt wants to get stronger and earn its trust, but that Pokemon actually wants him to let go of his obsession. And that's what causes it to eventually, like, show itself. That could be neat, potentially. Do you think Kyogre or Groudon get involved, or just legendary mystical Pokemon? I don't know. We've already got quite a bit of like legendaries in this series, as if. So I kind of feel like adding more, it'd be like, okay, we're just featuring all like every single legendary we have. We're just featuring them. With strength, yep. It would be funny if they went to Unova because someone says they saw the black dragon and they mistake it for Zekrom. Unfortunately, we're past that point now that we know where Rayquaza's hiding out at. I still think Blueberry Academy is going to be our trip to Unova, though. Let's just be real. Imagine if Alt's secondary Pokemon is also capable of Mega Evolution. It could. I mean, he was in Kalos, right? So there's a strong possibility. Does the Wiggle Lady catch the Dratini, or did she just steal the egg to sell? Or did she get arrested? I don't know about getting... It looked like we just chased her off. But she was clearly trying to catch the Dratini and the eggs and probably poach it or something. Do you think in Paldea's Alt might obtain a Terrestrialization Ball, which he uses a second Pokemon in the future? He would have to go through the terrestrial course, though, in order to get it, though. I don't think we really have enough time for this arc to do something like that. Alright. I'm going to be right back. I got to use the restroom really quickly. Give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Go ahead and keep chatting, guys. And once I return, I will catch back up in the chat. So give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, guys. Did you miss me? Okay. Where was I at? Perhaps Alt's second is Absol. Okie dokie. Yeah, we'll see. Can't really say. We could guess all day and we'd probably... the one it ends up being is one we weren't expecting. I'm down for the mystery Pokemon. It was either Grimmsnarl or Hydreigon. Hydreigon would have a parallel to Rayquaza. That'd be neat. Maybe he does have a dragon, like another dragon Pokemon or something like that, or who knows. Just add it to his collection. Definitely a possibility, yep. I'm afraid Coral or Songo's Screamtail will get sidelined this arc, and Onyx's Aerodactyl will have a good portion of screen time this arc. I don't know. We've only seen them one time. And it was Glalie that was used in said battle, so we'll see. Whenever they show back up in the series, we'll know, maybe. A Mega Houndoom. You know, Houndoom could also work for Alt. Okay. Wow, 15 people here. I just want to say again, if you are here and you haven't liked the video, please like the video. It really does help. Let's try to get to 15 likes. We were at 13. Can we get 2 more? And maybe more than that? Also, remember to vote in the poll. 10-9 is winning. You guys must have really liked this episode. Kind of surprised. But yeah, go ahead and hit the like button and vote, and yeah, and join the chat if you haven't already. If you're here to lurk, you're good. We like our lurkers here too. Well, Screamtail was featured in the eye catch, meaning that it is at the front of the writer's mind. Yep, it's not going to be forgotten. I mean, we know that, you know, at the end of the Rayquaza, or at the end, like towards the end of Rayquaza, it lost its battle against Crocodile, and it was mainly due to the fact that it was not trained well enough. She had just gotten the Pokemon, so it's a strong Pokemon. It's just because of its lack of training, it's not really good and useful in battle yet. So maybe in the 1 year that we've, you know, been away, she actually maybe trained it up a bit, but who knows. Liko and Roy did mention that they'd gotten stronger in the year since they saw them, so yeah, who knows. So with those other Mega Pokemon we saw in the magazine scans, my guess is that maybe we'll see other trainers use Mega Pokemon this arc. Maybe. Again, we gotta have the opportunity for that, and we are going to we're going back to Paldea. So do you think we'd see Mega trainers hanging out there? There's a chance they might, but I don't know. I feel like we need to go to Kalos or something. Do you think we will get new episode titles next week? As for that, it's a possibility. We only know one episode now. Usually, once we get to that point where we have like one episode left, that's when the episode titles and summaries come out. And then we usually get more like usually like summaries first week of the month. But seeing as we're coming to the end of the month and we have nothing, we know nothing for the next month, we'll probably get some new episode titles here soon. If not next week, the week after. But I feel like it would be next week probably. That'd be a good time too, since we don't have an episode airing next week, so kind of need something to fill the gap, right? Maybe I'll actually finally work on that Arvin video. You know, watch it, guys. I'm gonna do this joke Arvin video, and then like a week later we're gonna get episode titles and they'll be like, Arvin's gonna be showing up in the series, and I'm gonna make, dang it, the timing couldn't have been any worse. Maybe I can manifest it. Maybe I should work on that video this week when I get a chance. It is almost a Memorial Day weekend, so I'll have some extra time coming up. But then again, I'm also busy with stuff too. We'll see. And then for the other part, do you think the Stunfisk will be the Tinkertuff development episode? It's leaning on it. It's leaning on Tinkertuff getting some development here. I'd like to see it terrestrialize. I know they're hinting at it possibly evolving soon, so there's a chance that could happen, but I still think maybe we should see it terrestrialize first, or maybe learn a new move before it evolves. But who knows? We'll see what happens. I think we might get a couple of new titles revealed next week. Possibly. So if we do get new titles revealed next week, will you do a video on that? Gonna just say this, Sharon. If we're getting new episode titles, more than likely I will make a video. The chances of me making a video are pretty much above 90. Number one. Number two, we need to see if we have summaries with said episode titles, because a lot of times lately I don't have those summaries, so it kind of makes it very difficult for me to come up with ideas for a video or even say anything, just because I'm kind of just like having to come up with stuff on my own, you know. And then people are going to show up to my video and be like, hey, you got this like way wrong. And I'll be like, well, didn't have a summary to tell me what the episode was going to be about, so kind of had to guess. Cappuccino. Is that... Am I saying that right? I'm probably just butchered everything. I don't know. It's Saturday. I'm tired. We have a new person here. What's up? How are you doing? I want to say overall, so far, Pokemon Horizons is doing an amazing job at showing the interactions between different characters. Truly, that is mesmerizing to watch over the episodes. Yeah, I'm liking the series so far. It's pretty good so far. It's a pretty good series, I'd say. Enough for me to make videos on it, though. But welcome in. Everyone welcome our new person in. The more the merrier, I say, right? Get as many people here as possible. What's that anipoke thing you posted in the post recently? What do you mean, Sharon? Anipoke thing you post. Can you elaborate, please? I want Alt to share his food in the future episodes to make up for stealing pancakes. That would be a nice thing, but we know how Alt is. He is like, oh, you need to accommodate me. TNT Dynamite, hello. I think they will get to go to Kalos or Blueberry Academy, you know, but once they get the Rising Tacklers and the Bravest Augie together, but I think they will travel as a group of 4 first very soon. Yeah, that's probably what we're going to do before we actually get to Orla. Because we met up with Molly, now we're meeting up with Murdoch. We got to meet up with the old man, aka Mighty G. And then once we meet up with Orla, that's when we'll probably get the Bravest Augie back up and running, and then we'll be traveling around again more easily. The next episode after Stunfisk, I'm betting, is Murdoch. Maybe Songo will show up again. That'd be funny. Be a repeat of what happened in that Katie episode. You know? Hey, guys. You know, speaking of which, with us going back to Paldea, we're meeting up with Murdoch at Katie's place. Do you think that Liko is going to have a rematch with Katie? And if so, I think she should win this time around. That would be cool. I didn't think about that until just now. I'm like, we're going to be seeing Katie again. Maybe she'll test Liko out and see if she's gotten better. That would be cool, right? And then she wins this time. Very well, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. Just a little sleepy today, but just chilling and hanging out. I'm expecting an episode where we see Orlo again and Mighty G maybe staying at his village. Yeah. Technically, we're in Johto right now, so maybe we'll get that before we head to Paldea, but, you know, who knows? Probably not. Not at this point. I feel like without summary, your speculations are generally correct. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm kind of unsure. It's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hit and miss. But without the summary, it's really hard to figure out what exactly is going on. Unless I know, like, the summary literally tells me what a good idea of what's going on in the episode. Without that summary, I'm kind of just taking, like, wild guesses of what it could be. Sometimes I hit the mark, sometimes I don't. Taking a fresh breath outside. Nice. I agree. Cappuccino. The calendar thing with the Meowscarada and the Littens. Oh, that comes from the Twitter page, Sharon. Do you not follow the anipoke page on Twitter? Because that's where they post all their stuff, like the calendars and stuff. Good to know. Liko in a rematch against Katie with her using her Ursaring. Oh, it evolved? That'd be cool, and then she wins. I'd be down for that. Oh, quite a prediction. Sorry. One guess regarding the mystery Pokemon Noivern. As he met Roy and Kalos and Legends ZA is coming out. They need to showcase a Kalos Pokemon. It's still a strong possibility it is a Pokemon from Kalos. I'd say that's a good guess. Honestly, I don't want Liko to rematch against Katie. Meowscarada has a quadruple weakness against Bug-type moves as Grass and Dark. Maybe, but look, this is the Pokemon anime. We've had how many times where we've had Pokemon that have type disadvantages come out on top? Just saying. But I think a rematch would be nice because I think people were kind of frustrated with her loss. You know the crazy thing about that is? You know, that episode was like a year ago, guys. I think it was more than a year, actually. No. Trastal debut was a year ago, and that blows my mind. Doesn't feel like it was that long ago. I just got scared by a leaf that fell on my head. Fortunately, I don't scream. It's funny. I hated the Katie battle. It was the worst. Liko needs a rematch to win. Do you think Iona will use Miss Mangos to team up with Tinkatuff? I'm not sure. The preview seems to imply that Dot's kind of on her own battling against the Stunfish trainer, but who knows? I would like to see them, team up again. We technically had their team up against Poppy, but yeah. A team up with them against Recruiting influenced Pokemon, that'd be cool. I want Iona to use this Magius or Luxray to battle with Dot. They'll probably use its Belly Boy. Probably use it again. Time flies. I don't like Miss Magus, but I highly doubt she will use Wattrel. Yeah, I mean, no reason to use Wattrel. Our boy Roy had a Wattrel. I like that we are seeing the Paldea gym leaders again. Maybe they will have more focus on Kofu and Tulip. I'm still hoping they're saving Arven, Kieran, and for something big. That's just speculation. Yeah, I literally mentioned this earlier in the stream. I said, like, if there's an opportunity, like, I was already kind of bummed out that they didn't get any focus in Terrestrial debut. But we know they exist. But, like, we're going back to Paldea. This is our opportunity to, like, have Kofu and Tulip have, like, at least some relevance. Like, we don't need them to show up for, like, 10 episodes or something like that. If you give us an episode where we have to help them out with something, or we just show up to their town and we're dealing with a Pokemon that's, you know, influenced by Recruiting and we team up with them to stop the problem, that's cool. I'd be down with just that. It at least showcases them. And they're not forgotten. I'm just saying, like, a rematch, Liko versus Katie rematch would be kind of nice. Maybe for her to test her skills out. And then Arven has a strong possibility of being relevant now. I expect Nemona, obviously, to show up and maybe battle Roy or something to see how much stronger he's gotten, you know, versus the last time they battled. Which I think he'd put up a pretty good fight against her at this point. But yeah, this is literally their opportunity to, you know, have Kofu and Tulip do something this arc. Have Arven do something major. Have Nemona come back and, you know, maybe battle Roy or something, and maybe Alt gets, like, jealous or something like that and is like, no, I'm Roy's rival, not you. See of the possibilities that we could have for this upcoming return to Paldea. We're going back to Paldea already. We were just there in January. And we were just in Johto in December, and now we were in Johto this month. It's funny. Meowscarada has a quad weakness to bug. It would be okay with Liko winning if Katie uses a Pokemon that doesn't have a bug type move like Fortress. I guess we'll see what happens. I want Tulip to maybe help develop Heather more. Have Tulip use Ferredraff and Florgo. I can't pronounce that name. Florges. Sorry. It's been a long day. It's been a long week, guys. Have Kofu use his terrestrialization Crabominable? Yeah. I feel like Kofu will make a great filler episode. Filler-ish episode. Since all these episodes are canon. I really wanted Roy to battle him, but I know it was going to be Rhyme. I wanted it to be Dot versus Kofu, personally. Because I always felt like Kofu would remind Dot of her uncle. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Murdoch takes us over and to meet Kofu or something like that. Still, it's still a possibility. Who knows? Nemona should still win as she is a champion level trainer. I'm not expecting Roy to just, like, automatically win against her. I mean, he could at least give her some trouble, and she could be like, oh my gosh, you're so much better than the last time we battled. Let's just keep battling, like, every day while you're here and stuff like that. But yeah, maybe give her a little bit more of a fight, since we can imply that Roy has gotten a lot stronger in the 1 year since they've seen each other. But Nemona's probably gotten stronger too at the same time. I feel Kofu and Tulip will be the next, be a next arc thing, so not like this arc. We'll see. I have a question for you, Mitchell. Do you have a favorite Pokemon? Incineroar. I don't know. I've always liked Lugia. Rayquaza is one of my favorite Pokemon too, by the way. Lugia, I particularly really like Lugia. Not to mention Bug resists grass type moves. Yeah, again, this is the Pokemon anime. The Pokemon anime has this happen a lot with Pokemon that have type disadvantages that somehow come out on top. But who knows? Do you personally farm for shinies? If so, of course, play the Pokemon games. Personally, it's not really my thing. When it comes to the Pokemon games, I'm more so just a casual player. Where I just, get the game, play through the game, do the post-game stuff, and once I'm done, I'm pretty much, put the game down and move on to my next thing. I'll go back and revisit it, but yeah. I'm more of a fan of the earlier generations of Pokemon, personally. Gens 1 through 5. After that, it's kind of hit and miss with me. Especially during the Switch era. I do like Arceus, though. Arceus was a good game. Despite it being kind of choppy in areas. I feel like Demona would use Goodra or Midday Lycanroc and Palmont. Yeah, Palmont for sure. Goodra would be interesting. Or have Nemona use a fully evolved starter like Quaxquaval. Maybe. Roy needs a 2-on-2 with Nemona. Why not a 3v3? He's got 3 Pokemon. Just saying. What about Gyarados? I like Gyarados. I mean, not my favorite, but I do like Gyarados. It's always a joke going from Magikarp to Gyarados. You get the weakest Pokemon ever to like one of the strongest ones in Gen 1. Aside, have you took a like to a certain flower? Mine. Oh, like a liking to a certain flower? Lilies and peonies? I do like flowers. I don't really have like a particular flower that I like. It's nothing that I really think about, but I do like flowers though. And this is the time for it too. Actually, I'm taking care of some flowers that I got recently. At least trying. One time I got shiny Baneri, and then just the next encounter I got another shiny, not that I remember which, but yeah, nice. That's cool. Golisopod needs a better ability, like maybe Shell Armor or Tough Claws. Granbull should have had a strong jaw ability, okay. Sure. Tough Claws would be too much for Golisopod, oof. Weavile should have had a Tough Claws ability, okay. Okay, guys, we are past the 1 hour mark. We're about 1 hour and 15 minutes into the stream. Got 15 likes exactly. Thank you so much. Can we get to 20 likes before we get to the end here? Also, vote in the poll if you haven't. We are at 22 votes, and 10-9 is winning, which I am still shocked that it's winning. Some faves of mine are Lopunny, Politoed, Azumarill, Bellybolt, Surplus, Frostless, Roserade, Lurantris. Love ghost types, ice grass. The only type I really the only type I really like is dragon. Gotcha. Should get inner focus to negate posing and intimidate. I know. Scyther should have had a sharpness ability. Oh, bye guys. See you, Thomas. Thanks for checking out the stream. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully we'll see you in the next one, which won't be for 2 weeks, but yeah, next week's a break. Sneasel has inner focus, but Weavile does not. I think having Nimona with Moxie Quaquaval would be neat. Ooh. But yeah, we are over an hour into the stream. What else you guys got for me before we head on out? Gotta eat something real quick, then I gotta go and dog sit for a bit. The only type I don't like is dragon. Oh, that's what you meant. I was like, oh. At first I was like, oh, you like all types. I guess you like, you love these types, but then you also like dragon. I'm like, I almost implied, I'm like, oh, do you hate all other types? Dragon's cool, but it is like one of those things where it's like, oh, they're just really strong typically. So since we saw Salazar, will we see Miraida and Koraidon? I don't know. The question would be, how would they be integrated into the plot? Would it have to do with something with Arven, maybe? And his introduction into the plot? It all depends, because we don't seem to be really focused on those Pokemon for this series, but we'll see. Salazar exists, so maybe it gives a little bit of hope that you'll see them, but we'll see. Pokemon I like are Meowscarada, Garchomp, Dialga, Rayquaza, Umbreon, Banette, Jirachi, and Vitol. Can't pronounce that one. Mostly the narrow circle, yet I change my mind sometimes. Gotcha. I think Nimona has a Gudra. I like Excalibur. But I can live without the rest of the dragons I see. Dang. Or I would have a 3v3 battle against Nimona, which could be its own episode. Probably. Hey Audrey, welcome in. One thing that I need is a rematch with Liko against Grusha. You know, I'd still say that's on the table since we're back in Paldea, but it's all going to depend on where we go from here. Maybe we get a Pokemon that's all up on Rikua, up in the mountain area, and Grusha's trying to investigate, and it's just happening all over the place, and he requests Liko and the others, but before they head out, he's like, hey, I need to make sure that you're up for the task of taking on these Pokemon. Battle with me again. They battle, and she ends up winning. And then he's like, yep, you're worthy. Let's go. My favorite Mega is Mega Sableye. Nice. Grusha uses Beartic and Frostmo. Switch it up, right? Nice. Okay. Oh, you're taking off, Sharon? Alright, well, thank you for stopping by and chit-chatting with us today. It was a pleasure. And with that said, do you guys have anything else for me before we head on out of here and I go and get my lunch? Frostmouth was one of my faves. Not strong, though, unfortunately. I'll be here for the episode 100 review and discussion. Gotcha. We'll have fun on your vacation. We'll see you in the next one. That'll be episode 100. I'm at a stray cat. It's overly nice but cute. Nice. I have nothing else to say. Gotcha. You're good. We're kind of getting ready to wrap things up here shortly. I like contests, but it's hard to use or for gyms in the games. Gotcha. In general, I'm done. You're good. You're good, guys. This is usually once we get to about an hour and a half, that's pretty much a good stopping point for me. At this point, you're just here for moral support. Well, this is the last call for likes. If you haven't liked the video already, or stream already, I'd encourage you to do so. And also vote in the poll. I'm going to give you guys like another minute or two. And if I don't see anything else, we'll probably bring the stream to an end. I am looking forward to the Dot episode. I have a lot of thoughts about Pokemon Horizons. Gotcha. I am looking forward to it too. Dot episodes tend to be pretty good. And I think that this mainly being focused on Dot is going to be a good thing, since we haven't gotten a whole lot of focus with Dot in a long time. I still like Dot. I do feel like her character arc kind of felt like it kind of came to a halt during the previous arc. So hopefully maybe we restart it now that things are, picking back up and she'll come back out into the world. She's been helping out behind the scenes though. Do you like pancakes? I literally had pancakes for breakfast today, so I'd say yes. I love its goo. It's so cute. Such a powerhouse. I wish she was more popular. Enjoy your lunch, Mitchell. Thanks, Kevin. Thank you for showing up, by the way. Appreciate it. No stream next Saturday, but we'll be back on the 31st. Whew, okay. I think, with that all said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up for this stream. Forgot Esper Meowsticks. One of my favorites also. Gotcha. Okay, see you next time. Share mine. Bye-bye, Mitchell. Have a peaceful time and soundless sleep. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate it. The more the merrier, I say in here, right? Hopefully we'll see you in the next one. See you, Sharon. Alright, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap this stream up. I'm going to end the poll. We ended up with 22 votes. You guys like this episode, apparently, because this got 63% voted 10-9, 27% voted 8-7, 9% said 6-5, and nobody voted lower than 5. So apparently you guys liked the episode, so I guess we'll give it an 8, right? I gave it a 6. You guys gave it a 10-9. Let's give it an 8. We'll meet halfway. Why not? No problem. A pleasant company is always welcome. Nice. Yep, we're pretty chill here. I've always had some issues here and there on stream, but we've pretty much got a lot of issues ironed out, and we're a pretty chill crowd here. We just hang out and chat about the series and have a good time. Alright, guys, we're going to go ahead and bring this stream to a close. So, we don't have an episode, we don't have an episode airing next week. So, next weekend we'll be taking a break from stream. If we have new episode titles or summaries, I'll be making a video on that this upcoming week. Otherwise, I think I might start working on that Arvin video before he decides to show up in the series. Gotta get that joke video out of the way before, you know, he actually ends up showing up. If I get time for it. Anyways, guys, that's it for today's stream. So if you're still here, thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend, rest of the day, or night, wherever you're at. And I will see you all later. Bye now. Bye-bye. Bon voyage. See y'all later. I'm going to go now.